The new mental revolution is the new human evolution. Talk 1000. We are back. Bet you didn't think we'd be. What a damn 2025, right?
Bullshit, motherfucker!
And of course, when they start adding more fuel to the fire, we come back every single time.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Here's my boy once again, Jay. Jay Dog.
Stop being a bitch and come on.
Back. I'm looking forward to this one. It's a crazy world these days. It's only getting crazier, but fortunately, we're here to cover it for you.
I'm crazy too. Shit. Gotta be a little bit, like Tupac said, you gotta be a little bit crazy in this world.
There's crazy, it's bad crazy. And
yeah.
this shit right here is, they need to invent a whole new word for it.
Yeah, speaking of which, first of all, we want to start talking about Snow White and the Seven Imps.
Oh my God, bro.
Because them damn elves or whatever the hell they are, them dwarves look like demons. Like it was straight up nightmare fuel. I think we can all really relate to that.
It's disgraceful, really. I mean, you have a original film that people enjoy, and then you come back with this? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they are kidding. No, actually, they're not kidding. It's.
I wish they were kidding. I wish that we wouldn't have this kind of abomination.
We only have this abomination because the real abomination isn't necessarily Disney. It's the people behind Disney. It's these writers. It's the people that carry on they wanted to carry on the ridiculous tradition of brainwashing the children to be molded into whatever they really wanted. Which, by the way, is not working. You wanted to reach your woke audience. You actually reached the woke audience. Look at your low numbers. Look at the one chair every couple of weeks. And there, you can't really complain, can you, right? You know what I mean?
I mean, 1.8 out of 10. That's the ratings I see almost everywhere I look. And then, we just saw that video right there. Empty theater.
Empty freaking theater, and this woman is I told people I'm not gonna dig too deep into Rachel Zegler because Rachel Zegler is in her own little mess. You know what I'm saying? But we're really talking mostly about the corporation, and Disney is representing the corporation in a certain way. But Rachel Zegler, I will admit, is not helping with the narcissistic idea that everything that's happening around her and the hatred that's around her does not exist. As I've said before many times, if you don't accept your lumps, if you don't take things for as they are, when you do something wrong, you don't learn anything. If no one's punishing you, or if you don't even feel punished, how do you learn anything? You cannot humble. You see what I'm saying? So there's where Rachel Zegler is in her own little mess because she has to step out of her own little world.
And it's not just her. It's Gen Z, Gen Alpha. They don't know when they did wrong. They'll never acknowledge. Most of Gen Z is narcissists. Most of Gen Alpha is narcissists.
Well, let's also be realistic about it. Does any of that have to do with Gen X? How did we raise our children? I mean, I don't personally have children, but you would think, and I'm only saying that because I also want to say this. You would think that because of how we woke up and the way that we woke up and how we fought the system, you would think that we were teaching our children to be just as aware, just as alert. This is not happening. And if we did try, then they were just laughing us off because of Disney and all these other influences, the re-influence of everything. When it comes to media, my main concern is the politics behind media, because this is what's affecting your children. If they can get to your children before you as a parent can, not only is that saying more about you than anything else, but it's also saying that we are all going to reach a point where no matter what we teach them, it's going to be too late. So did Gen X make a mistake in raising the children to where we didn't keep up with them in the way that our parents kept up with us, especially in the age of the internet, where, like I stated in one of my last podcasts, like Pornhub is too easily accessible. Deaths, real life CCTV death experiences are too easily accessible to everyone.
Right, I mean, you had a website called Best Gore for the longest time.
And I watched it a lot. I'll be honest with you. My desensitization came from
I remember maybe being 9 or 10 and seeing like pickaxings or beheadings.
Yeah. And we watched so many horror movies that it was almost okay. So that's how it actually happened. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the ones that disturbed me were the ones where like women. It was women. Unless it was like an accident where they were dumb or they were doing like on a motorbike or something, they get split in half or whatever. It was always the women being abused or being tortured that I really couldn't sit through. And if I tried to stomach it, it was for desensitization and educational purposes. The Shaolin monks, they are always like, I think there was recently a couple of monks or temples, Shaolin temples, and they had caskets all over the temples, and they had bodies in them that were mummified and had potpourri and all kinds of stuff that kept them well preserved.
What the hell
and the monks were keeping them there because it helped the monks accept death. Samurai were the same way. They focused on understanding of death through even meditation. It desensitizes your fear of death and the understanding that you will die someday and this is nothing to fear, as it is your ascension.
Right. I don't know too much about the samurai, but I remember, you showed me Ghost Dog recently, and I remember, at the ending scene, he's kind of accepting his death from that guy who was, I think.
At the end where he was shooting him?
His retainer. Yeah, at the end where he was shooting him in the street. There.
Yeah. He that character, you could tell, he knew because of what he did.
Yeah.
Like, he knew he's living by that sword and he's gonna die by that sword.
Right.
But and this is what I mean, like, by definition, like, how people judge me and the way I talk and everything. This is what I mean about being misunderstood in your purpose and just having what I diagnosed myself as the Batman complex, where you want to achieve a certain level of justice in a way that most people who side only with direct formal authority would not understand.
Right.
You see, so Ghost Dog was representing, because somebody introduced me to that years ago, and they said, man, this movie reminds me of you, because they knew I was a martial artist. They knew I was, back in the 90s, there was like you had a mystique about you. So I was always the guy dressed in all black with the trench coat, sitting in the corner, never talking to anyone. And actually, that attracted the women back then. Like, you were the mysterious guy, and they always wanted to know about the mysterious, cool-looking guy in the background that's not talking to nobody. You know what I mean?
Now
I want to know about you.
Now they won't even talk unless you come up to them, and even them.
Well, if you're the lonely guy dressed in black, sitting in the back of the corner, not talking to nobody, they just label you weird. But back then, like, that was the thing. Like, they had movies like Blade that demonstrated, like, that was the people that these girls wanted to talk to. They had that kind of dark vibe of, like, back then, everybody thought that the guy that thought the whole world sucked was cool. Everybody just thought that guy was cool. Like, the world sucks, everybody sucks. You know what I mean? Right. So, yeah, man. But when it comes to, that's why I say when it comes to somebody like Rachel Zegler, I do understand when you have a level of thinking that's just you. Like, you don't even realize, like, see, here's the thing. I know for a fact she's not stupid. She's not that goddamn, well, she's narcissistic as fuck. And narcissistic people are some of the very smartest people in the world. But there's no way that you're so dumb that you can't see that you are massively hated all over the freaking world right now. Exactly. I would be scared to leave my house. Exactly. Well, no, I wouldn't be personally scared, but Rachel Zegler doesn't have tactics. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'd be scared.
All she has is probably maybe a few bodyguards. But I mean, you look at her Twitter page. You look at this post here, right under the one that she has pinned. It's her most recent tweet. You look 3 comments deep, and after that, you get into exclusively hate. I mean, she can't even look at her comment section without being heckled.
There's no way. And she's not looking at her comment section. When was the last time that post was? When was the last time she posted?
This was August 12th, 2024. And
see, so she's not looking at any of this.
Yeah. She abandoned this Twitter account. I think. I don't know what she's using right
That's
now.
what I mean about being narcissistic to the point that you're so crazy, that you're so delusional, that you're purposefully delusional. You know that you're delusional, And you're gonna express that you're delusional just to double down in front of the whole freaking world. Because you are the last thing that wants to settle in your brain that will switch your whole level of thinking and all your brainwave patterns is the idea that you are the one person in the history of Disney that has screwed over an entire $1 trillion corporation. There's no way that your brain is not somehow understanding that, well, deep in the back of it. There's no way, dude, because if that is the case, then as this poor young girl gets older, we're going to hear a lot about hospitalizations, and I just, God forbid, and this is why I said I'm not going to really trash Rachel Zegler to the degree of only knowing what you know, and so this is what you're going to say. I do understand being misunderstood, but this is the kind of thing that can lead into depression and then eventually maybe even self-harm.
She needs some tough love or something like that.
Well, somebody needs to let her know that that's what's happening.
Right.
And I'm going to be realistic. It's not like Rachel Zegler doesn't have another chance. She just needs to learn how to humble. If you can sit up there and act crazy in front of the world, you can humble yourself and admit your wrongs in front of the world too.
Exactly.
Whatever they taught you can be unlearned, is what I'm saying. And you know what?
They'll respect you a lot more for saying, I was wrong, I apologize, I'm going to change, for sticking to something that is extremely unpopular.
Right. Because overall, the movie, Rachel Zegler or not, that movie would have failed. But it wouldn't have failed to the degree.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It would have had, 20 people, 30, 40 people maybe in each theater or whatever. But it wouldn't have bombed like this, Rachel Zegler, and this is what started making me feel bad. I don't know if I can pop up this video right away. But it is a video, and a lot of people say, "Oh, this is her acting," but I believe it was Rachel Zegler at her most, or closest to being her most broken. And she was damn near in tears, and she was telling people, for people who hate that I win, she was like, basically, the way she said it was kind of fancy for me, but she was saying, I came into the game a little broken and tattered. And she admits, she's like, regardless of all of the cracks and all the scars that I'm holding and displaying, and she's like, and there are a lot of them, I hope that people will still line up to see me. And the way you can tell she's like holding back these tears. And it's like, it's one of those situations where you see the real Rachel internally being external for a few seconds, and then after that, everything goes right back to shit. You see what I'm saying? So that's where, and it's happened to me before. That's how I understand, because it's like, you will break to that person that's inside at some point. You can't keep it bottled in forever. It's so bad. You know what I'm saying?
Where is that video?
Let me look up that video. Yeah, dude.
Because it's not on her Twitter. Where
it really should be. I really don't know where she put it, man. I don't know where she actually put it. I've just seen it in a lot of clips from other YouTubers and influencers that were showing it. But yeah, dude, like, wait for it. It pops up Rachel Zegler, weird. That's gonna be a meme for the ages. It's never gonna end, man. That weird. Here it is. Here it is.
Sponsor Raid Shadow Legends. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Here it goes. Yeah.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the win's victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them.
And then right away the hate's already starting, but it's like, dude, you got 5 seconds of Rachel Zegler as Rachel Zegler when the cameras are not rolling. You got it right then and there. So that should have been enough for people to, okay, you poor dumb bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like let's just back off and just, I know nobody wants to support the movie, but that doesn't mean we got to keep tearing into her and directly and letting her know. She knows.
But I feel like she definitely should have put this on her Twitter. If she put that on her Twitter, it'd have a much bigger effect.
I don't know where she put that. I haven't really scrolled. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not too far. I mean, but like at least 20 or so tweets on her page are like from the 9th or the 10th of August of last year. I mean, I haven't found a tweet that is older or younger than that. Well, I see August 11th, August 10th. I'm scrolling pretty far here.
Oh yeah, no, August 10th.
But August 9th, August 10th, and August 11th. Those are the only.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like Rachel Zegler just freaking started. She just started, dude. She's right now.
Yeah,
she's still a human being like the rest of us. She's not that A-list. Can't nobody see this girl outside of the store. Can't nobody touch her. And that's my point. Is she's somebody that would be sitting right next to us right this minute.
Yeah.
So she doesn't. It hasn't processed yet like that.
Yeah.
She wants it to so desperately.
She makes it into this movie, and she makes it into that Hunger Games prequel movie.
Right.
And that's literally only 2 movies I know she's in. Maybe she's in some other things. Maybe she's in, I don't know. But she didn't have enough of an impact there. There is no way she's A-list. There is no way she's on the level of, I don't know, somebody like Alec Baldwin or Tom Cruise. I mean, everybody knows who those people are.
Well, that's what I mean. Is just like she can't be in like Robert De Niro's latest movie. What was it called? Like the Alto Kings or something like that.
I don't know.
Alto Knights. The Alto Knights.
I know Killers of the Flower Moon. I don't know that one.
It was called the Alto Knights. Yeah, there's a reason. It's called the Alto Knights, I think, and yeah, it was Robert De Niro. And it was his worst movie ever right now. His latest and worst movie ever. Nobody's watching it. But I guarantee you, if his ass sits up in an empty theater, he has every right to be like, yeah.
You know, he would. He wouldn't be empty because everybody knows.
Because he's done it already. He doesn't have at this point. He doesn't have to prove to nobody. He's done it a million times already. Right, but when you see that video of Rachel Zegler in the theater, like she
with her friend, that scream, it sounded like Iron Man repulsors or something like that. It was weird.
It really.
We'll look at the clip. We'll let you guys decide, but it doesn't sound like there's anybody else in there.
What does it mean?
Yeah.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Echo Base Network. Coach and Nick here. We're going through Rachel Zegler, who posted a video of herself sitting in a theater watching her movie. She squeals like a pig. Here we go. Check this out.
Man, this some more bullshit.
That is not an actual scream.
No.
That might be the person with the camera.
It is.
That's squealing.
But she's still.
Yeah.
She's still participating.
Yeah.
Bullshit, motherfucker!
Yeah. Why don't you turn the camera around and show all the people in that theater?
Oh, but bro, she's a celebrity. You know, she rented the entire room. No, she didn't. Nobody's there.
Oh my god. I mean, if I was Rachel Zegler, I'd be in there.
I wouldn't be in there.
I'd be in there tweaking, dude. Like, what is going on? Looking around, like, y'all don't like me?
Don't show that part. Don't show the part of the theater. Don't show that.
Pause. I said, God damn it, pause. But yeah, I mean, and not only that, I mean, I'm really gonna dig into Disney because this is kind of Disney's fault anyway. Like I say, the movie would have failed no matter what because of the simple fact. Let's add up one big fact. Let's add up the original movie. Let's let you know what the original movie was about. The original movie was based off of the inevitable ideas about age versus youth. Okay, it was telling a story that was speaking mostly to women or people of all ages, that as you get older, you are going to start to lose your beauty. You are going to start to lose your ability to manipulate or control other men because of this other new generation of young, beautiful women who are soon to come to replace you. Right? So that was the story, was that if you try to go out as the queen did to go fight those structural parts of life that are completely inevitable, or that natural flow of the living and all things alive, the natural flow of time and nature. If you go and fight that, it'll lead to you going down. It'll lead to your downfall. You see what I'm saying? Okay. And that was the big story behind Snow White. This modern version of it doesn't have a moral. And it can't have a moral about age versus beauty when Gal Gadot is more beautiful than freaking Rachel Zegler.
She is. I agree with you on that. And she's like,
the queen is supposed to be ugly.
What kind of crack were they smoking?
She was supposed to be old and ugly. Looking in this mirror, who's the prettiest, who's the fairest one of all? Oh, wow, you are new queen, and this guy's got to go drink some liquor in the back of the mirror every time he goes and says it. You know what I mean? So, like, that's really what it was about. This modern one has no idea where it's going.
No, I mean, it can't have a moral. It doesn't believe in morals. It believes in woke.
It believes in the cultural effects. So it wanted to be political. So if we're going to have a kingdom, let's have a castle. Let's have the queen ruling these knights or these guards and whatever, and let's make it political as it would be in early medieval times. Let's go do that and just make it all about those kind of politics and make it relevant to today so that we can teach the children that we're trying to brainwash and corrupt and manipulate how to think older at an early age. And that's really what it is. I don't know if you're paying attention to people like 50 Cent and stuff who are talking and speaking about how, the system is trying to promote subtle ways of pedophilia.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw this this post on Twitter the other day. Let me see. I don't know if I have it saved, but it was like somebody got this from this like LGBTQ plus whatever the hell they added to the acronym these days.
Yeah.
And it had like the the little silhouettes of man and woman, man and man, woman and woman, and then it had in the next row man and young boy, woman and young girl, man and young girl, women and young boy.
Yep.
It's promoting pedophilia, and then they want to add the pedophilia to the acronym. I
just saw a commercial recently where it was like an old ass lady with a super hot young guy. Not like no Diddy, but he's one of those hot guys that you would see on TV. You know what I'm saying? Like the Brad Pitt in his youthful age, or like one of those blonde-haired, pretty boy, blue-eyed type, not average,
the
but
person that
Captain America looking type of guy, like he's all attractive, the hot guy, the hot white guy, as Rachel Zegler said. So it was like these two are a couple, and it was on a YouTube commercial, dude. And I just seen it a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
And I'm just like, okay, now they're sneaking it in a little more and a little more. And so when I saw Snow White, it was like, okay, so Disney is no longer hiding it subtly. Now they're just gonna push it out there and
because they can get away with it.
Right, right.
They have this flop. They lose $200 million. The guy in the video said he saw something that they might be even losing $300 million. They can afford that.
$300 million.
They can afford that. I mean, they have 2 theme parks. They have how many movies still out there? They have the streaming service now, which is huge.
Hell yeah, man.
They can afford this little loss, so they don't even have to hide it anymore.
No.
Bob Iger can come out and with a little kid and say they're together, and he'd still be a wealthy man.
Bob Iger can be a wealthy man, and just he seems to be on his way out the door right now anyway. So
we'll see how long that takes, though. We'll see how long that takes, because they were saying the same thing about Kathleen Kennedy. Like 5 years ago, more than that.
They all want to get started about that, man. That's what I was saying before. It's just really is Disney altogether. But it seems like this is why I said I'm not gonna dig too hard into Rachel Zegler once again, because Disney has been digging this grave since episodes 1, 2, and 3. Disney has slowly been digging this grave since that, and it just feels like Rachel Zegler now has to be the ultimate excuse. And to me, it's like, no, dude, let's talk about the film. Okay, because I specifically remember there's small parts of the film I remember, besides the obvious. I remember when the dwarves in the original film were with Snow White in their cave, who's, their housing, which now puts them in danger because now the queen is after all of them. And she says, hey, I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll do whatever, and then you guys can help me. And then, you do the chimney, you do, the dishes, I'll get the broom. You know what I mean?
Usually the crack pipe.
Yeah, but basically in the new one, that's basically no. But in the new one, it wasn't like that at all. It was just like, you do this, 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 and then I'm just gonna sing around and I'm just gonna whistle while you guys work. So it was, I don't know, man. Like it was not only that, it was just so feminist, and that kind of suggestive feminist thinking was all throughout this film. The prince is not a prince in the film; he's a thief. And he has his band of bandits. And so now you're portraying the male gender role as people who are reckless, people who are just kind of like basically saying that the woman is, and I will agree with this on one level, but to me, because I did a poem about this a long time ago, women to me are actually like cats or kittens. They're like cats, like they're soft. They get very scared if you walk up too fast. You know what I'm saying? You gotta treat them soft, and you gotta be smooth. You can't, you know what I'm saying? Like women are like cats, but they're also very slick. They think they're slick. They're also very sleek. You know what I'm saying? They're always walking around with that tail. Like they're better than everything and everyone in the world. And they always want to be fed and always want to be rubbed on. It's the same thing as a cat.
At least these types of women.
But men to these kind of women are dogs. We were dumb. We got our tongue hanging out.
Yeah.
We're just reckless and causing all kinds of trouble everywhere we go, chasing tail everywhere we go. We're the dog,
The same people who are pushing this type of thing are the same people that say we want equal. It's not equal if you want to say that men and women should be equal, that's one thing. Of course. Yeah. But if you want to say that all men are pigs and that all men are disgusting and that men are the only ones that cause the problems, then we have an issue in society.
Well, then we do have a problem at that point. Because without us, I don't think there's going to be enough artificial insemination going on in the world to keep up.
No, of course not.
You know what I mean? Like the main purpose in the life of all living humans is to reproduce, to leave descendants, to grow, to have a bloodline, to carry on those traditions of your bloodline, to love someone, to have a child with them, to spread the traditions onto the seed. There is a purpose in human life just like there is all animals. What is Rachel Zegler? This is what I mean. When you are young, you don't know these kind of things. This is what I'm saying is it's gonna take time and understanding on her level. But the problem is, the more she keeps doubling down as she gets older, the worse she's gonna feel. Because now that's just, you're just leaving yourself open to more bad memories of what happened. You're just leaving yourself at this point open to more reasons why you will never be able to blame anyone but yourself. And as you kept doubling down, you weren't just bringing yourself down, you were bringing down the ever so popular Wonder Woman herself, Gal Gadot. And now these two are big time, like really going at it on some straight up type shit. Like they are like lately they're just cat's claw. Like, dude, like the last I can't remember, they had like what was it? What do you call them? Like those commentaries or whatever, those after commentaries or whatever, where it helps promote the film. They're under this whole damage control situation right now, and they couldn't even be next to each other. Like I can't even remember. Like I would have to look it up, but it was such a complicated situation. And I always try to look up like the best, most accurate information. And right, because a lot of times you'll think something's accurate, but then you'll go somewhere else and find out the real information, and then you'll find something like the same real information, and the same real information be like, well, that first thing I watched wasn't even real then, because all of the other ones are saying the real thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I watch for. I watch like who's all saying the same thing and giving the same report, and then I also have reliable sources that have been giving out the same stuff. That if they say it too, okay, now I can go and, you know what I'm saying? Because my algorithm's just like that. So, yeah, man, I just, honestly, dude.
Man, this some more bullshit.
I ain't gonna lie. Fuck, like, it's beating up the ideas and the traditional standards that have worked and made America so great for so long. You want to talk about being, you know, first of all, you want to talk about making America great again. You need to stop trying to drop all of the morals, traditions, and standards, because at this point, what people are starting to see is exactly what even the churches have been saying. You're trying to make everything that was once morally ethical immoral and unethical. You're trying to switch and turn everything backwards. And where one day people who are righteous are going to wake up and be told that they're evil.
Exactly.
You know.
And that's how you get either a revolution or what they label as extremist groups.
Yeah,
they have a word. I like to say they have a word for people who are ahead of the time. They call them terrorists.
Yeah, but at the same time, yeah, exactly. They do call them terrorists. The people who are ahead of their time, they get the same people constantly coming up to them talking about,
You are not in control!
you know, and you know, they're right to a degree. We're not the full people in control, but we still have a say-so to a degree.
Yeah.
We just can't influence the White House.
Not yet.
But we
Not
can
yet.
go out like I keep
2050,
saying. Well, yeah, like I say, man, like I keep saying, man, the new mental revolution is the new human evolution,
Right.
man. You know, like we're trying to fight with our minds now. We're trying to really, because the industry's trying to fight for your children's minds. So this is why I say, this is why I go back to, did Gen X screw up? Was it us not teaching those things? I mean, we didn't know as much. We didn't know who Dan Schneider was. We were still watching Nickelodeon. Nobody knew. But now that we do, now that we know who Diddy is, now that we know all of these celebrities, Danny Masterson and all of that, now that we know all of these people and what they've done, Bill Cosby included, R. Kelly, why are we not turning to our kids and going, look, we grew up on these people. This is going to actually, we're learning something new here.
Right.
So now this is teaching us that everything that glitters is not gold just because it glitters. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So why are we not doing that? Why are we just walking around living our everyday regular life while our kids are out somewhere watching Pornhub with their friends or whatever? You know what I mean? In my era, it was so hard to get a hold of porn, dude. Like, you had to be lucky to find it like in a storage closet. Somebody would abandon some shit and you'd find like their porn CDs or porn tapes.
Or that Playboy magazine.
Yeah, or Playboy and
know,
stuff like that. Well, we moved up after Playboy. We were getting Hustler and all the real shit. You know what I mean? Like,
You know, they discontinued here in like 2014, but then they still ran in like Germany and things like that until 2020.
Oh man, the internet took over, man. That's why there's no bookstores anymore unless you go to like the ones that have like the classic books, like what's that place, Bargain Books or whatever.
I know Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble.
I don't know Bargain Books. I'm too young to know too much about this, but there was Borders in LaGrange.
Oh yeah. That's kind of where I was founded for my skills, man, and as a rap artist. But I mean, anyway, man, I'm just saying, like, with all of this shit that's going on, you're seeing people like Disney who are basically just using their entire series of platforms to come out of the pedo closet. And if you look at the studies on who Walt Disney was, people, he had a pretty big questionable affinity for children too. Like, yeah.
I know that.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, the youth is not educated on these things. You know, a lot of people like to walk around saying, I'm not educated. Why? Because I'm not educated in, you know, the kind of politics that wouldn't benefit me personally or anybody around me to be educated in. I'm not going to make a change in nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like you had Obama, that was good enough. You ain't getting no more than that. If you get a female president, man, dude, hey, bless the day, but she better do it right.
She better not be Rachel Zegler.
She better not be a Rachel Zegler. Hold on. What just happened here? Guys, did I screw up? No, I didn't screw up. It's recording, but it's recording like where I can't see it. Sorry, guys. Like we keep it very real in here, man. I thought I had a little studio glitch here for a second, man. Yeah, I would have been pissed off at this laptop. I just bought this laptop to work this stuff, man. I would have been super pissed.
Don't make me bust you up, man.
How long have we been going? 25 minutes.
Yeah, probably about. Yeah. But
let's suck loose of that.
Exactly. But I really want to say this to y'all, man. It's like you really gotta. I don't care if you watch Snow White or not, man. It's really not about Rachel Zegler as much as it is the influence that this is trying to put on your children. Disney really wants you to believe that everything that has been morally right for thousands of years and gender correct for thousands of years is suddenly wrong. You know what I mean? And it just feels very sus, a little, you know, when you think about it as a whole, like what the real, not real scenario, but the real scheme here is, it's pretty sick to me. You know, I've had to personally witness the influences that creeps like the Disney company spills out myself, which is why I'm kind of a creep chaser myself. And you know, like I go after these people because like I don't, you know, and this is why I keep going back to the influences. It's like it really is the media. It really is the access to things that these kids and these adults should not be getting access to because it's giving them ideas. Okay, it's making them too curious.
Too curious about the wrong things and not curious enough about why is Disney pushing this message? What kind of
because
message?
That's not cool. If I'm a kid, so that's not what I should understand. Because all of it's subliminal, man. Like as a kid, I knew this kind of stuff. Like I kind of knew this kind of stuff. But even as a kid, I was ahead of my time like that. I was told I was crazy. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's just like this fight has to keep. You know what I'm saying? This fight has to keep. You know, and it's gonna be a real hard fight. Like I'm going in it. You know what I'm saying? Take it. Anyways, man. I'm just saying, if you're gonna see this movie, you need to keep that in mind. All of the messages, subliminal messages, just erase them. Just have fun poking at the movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take it too seriously. And as far as Rachel Zegler, that girl still has time. So, you know, I know everybody's bombing her and saying like you put it on yourself and this and that and the other thing.
She has time, but she needs to take advantage of that time.
Rachel Zegler, you need to humble yourself, okay? Like there's people out there that like I'm rooting for you. I'm gonna be realistic, but at the same time, you fucked up. You just need to be real. I fucked up, and if you just go out, you need to do that before it's too late. I'm telling you, he's gonna get a point. Don't you know what did they say in the movie American Gangster? Quitting while you're ahead. It's not the same as quitting. See? And if I were you, I'd humble while ahead. It's not going to be the same as just being humble.
Humble yourself. It's much better.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because, and as far as Disney is concerned, here, this is why I'm pissed off. And I was telling my boy this earlier. This is why I'm pissed off at you as a whole. Because you don't want to involve us. The fans, the people that have been watching these movies for years and years and years who grew up on this stuff.
If they did, they could make trillions.
Let me tell you something. Your biggest and dumbest mistake, and it wasn't Rachel Zegler, so you can't just be putting everything on Rachel Zegler. You've been fucking up since Star Wars Episode 1, 2, and 3.
They didn't have Star Wars. They didn't have Star Wars until 2012.
And this is why I say you don't pay attention to us. I was telling my boy earlier. If I had power in this side of the industry, if people, the everyday person like me, who are huge fans of these kind of movies, have been watching them my whole life, who went to the technology center of DuPage for multimedia and film production because I love the art of film so much, I would have never done what you did and took those scripts from George Lucas and scrapped them. Give me those. I would have came in and give me those goddamn scripts. I want all 3 of those scripts, 1, 2, and 3 scripts. I'm taking those scripts.
You mean 7, 8, and 9?
Or 7, 8, and
Yeah.
9. I'm taking all of those scripts and I'm going to debunk them. Meaning I'm going to find whatever doesn't really need to be needed and I'm going to make that better. But I'm keeping the overall plot. I'm keeping a lot of the script intact.
Yeah.
But making these small changes. And that's how you would have done it right, you idiots.
Did you look into did you ever see like those his original plans for like the sequel trilogy? I saw.
I have not seen the original plans.
So what I saw is he wanted to focus not too long after Return of the Jedi, and the idea, it was a little bit based on the Iraq War. Darth Maul was gonna be like the main.
Oh yeah. Darth Maul was gonna be
they were gonna have like this Darth Talon or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
That red Twilight girl. Yeah.
I was so mad when I heard that. I do remember that. I just heard that a couple of weeks ago, but I forgot because I was looking for information on it and it was so hard to find because George Lucas himself wouldn't say anything. He just said, "Oh, I gave it to Disney and they scrapped it." You know, like in the story. But I mean, it's like scrapped it where? Who's got it?
Yeah,
give it to me. Give it to the people. Like,
let's make it. I would do that.
But here's my conclusion to all of this: is do you see that it's getting so bad in Hollywood that if you look at the actual statistics, nobody's going to Hollywood for anything anymore. Nobody expects anything out of Hollywood because shit on YouTube or even just Netflix originals or Hulu is outdoing Hollywood as a whole. Like if the independent people are going to the YouTubers, the podcasters, they're going to them now. Like this is why I was telling you before. I told you, I said, dude, we are going to become the new Hollywood. And people sneered at me, and it's happening. It's happening. And that's the only part I can thank Disney for, is helping me prove that. I thank you for helping me prove that you are no longer, as Jim Carrey said, the cool club. You are not the cool club anymore. You're not what I grew up on anymore. And until you start making some direct, humble changes, this conversation is over. Like, we're done here for the day. And honestly, with the way that you're trying to attract these kids, I really feel like...
Nigga, you gay.
All right. Talk 1000. We are back. Better than ever. The new mental revolution is the new human evolution. We'll be right back. Eat it!
Stop being a bitch and come on!
And how is education supposed to make me feel smarter? Besides, every time I learn something new, it pushes some old stuff out of my brain.